Smriti-Purāṇānaṁ ālayam karuṇālayam namāmi bhagavadpātam Shankaram lokashankaram Shankaram Shankarācāryam Keshavam Bhattarāyanam Sutrabhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Sadashivasamarambham Shankarācārya-madhyamām Asmatacharya-paryantam Vande Guru-paramparam Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti-bheda-vibhagine Vyomavatyapta-dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Gukaro Anthakaro Vairukarastan-nivartakaha Anthakara-nirodhitvat Guru-ditya vidhiyate. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhe Tamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Bhadram Karne Vishrunayama Devaha Bhadram Pashyemakshaviryachatraha Sthirairangai Sushtuvam Sasthanopihi Veshema Devahitam Yatayuhu Sustina Indro Vrittashrabaha Sustina Pusha Vishwavedaha Sustina Stharshu Arishtanemihi Sustino Brahaspatir Dathatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So, we are in the Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad, verse number 8 and 9. We already gone through the verse number 8, which is talking about the similarities of the letters of Om and the states which are there in the reality, what we call eternal Brahman. So, what the Upanishad says is, there are three letters in the Omkara. Akaram, that is A. Okaram, that is U. Makaram, that is Ma. All together will become Om. So, this Om having three letters, that letters have some similarities with the three states occurring in the eternal. What are the similarities are being mentioned through the verses in the Upanishad, and which we are seeing right now. I will read the verse which we have already gone, which we have studied in the last class. For the continuity, we will see the meaning once again in a brief way. So verse number 8. Soyamatma Adyaksharam Omkaraha Adimatram Padaha Matraha Matrascha Padaha Akaraha Ukaraha Makaraha Iti. Soyamatma Adyaksharam. That Atman, which is the subject matter of the Upanishads, which is already mentioned in the previous verses as the Chatushpad, having four quarters, that Atman is Adyaksharam. That Atman, which is referred by the syllable Om, that Omkaraha is having three letters, and with respect to the letters, Omkaram will be representing the Atman, and Adimatram from the standpoint of these letters, the quarters will be connected. That padaha, matraha, matraha cha padaha. Indeed, these three letters will be representing the three quarters of the Omkara or Atman. And these quarters are indeed the three letters of the Omkara. And what are the three letters? Akaraha, Ukaraha, Makaraha. They are three. Three letters will form one syllable. That's called Om. Then that Om will be representing the eternal Brahman, which is the self, if I can say, non-dual self. And now in the next verse, which we also saw in the last class, which already we saw, that will start the similarities. In order to show the similarities, these verses are begun now. What is that first verse? Jagaridasthanaha. Verse number 9 in the Upanishad. Jagaridasthanaha, Vaishvanaraha, Akaraha, Pradhama Matraha, Aptehe, Adimatvad, Va, Apnodi Havai, Sarvan Kaman, Adishcha Bhavadi, Ya Evam Veda. Jagaridasthanaha, Vaishvanaraha. The entity who is residing in the waking state, named Vaishvanaraha, will be represented by Akaraha because they have some similarities. What are the similarities? The word A is the first letter to be uttered by any human being. If you open the mouth, the letter will be A. So, the first letter and the first state of a human being. Waking state being the first, because in the waking state only we will think about other two states. We will imagine about the future. We take decisions about the current situation. So everything will be in the waking state. So it has some priority. So it will be the first state considering other two states. And the letter A will be the first letter to say, because if you open the mouth, the first letter to come is A. So, Pradhama Matraha Aptehe Adimatvad. Adimatvad means being the first of all letters, that U and Ma. When I say first letter means we need not to consider the entire letter of the Sanskrit language. Considering the Ukaram, considering the Makaram, the letter A is the first letter in uttering Omkar. Okay. Akar. And also Aptimatvad. Pervading, spreading everywhere. Widely spread everywhere. Apti, Vyapti. All pervading. Without opening the mouth, you cannot utter any other word, U or M or any other letter. So, in order to say that letter, you have to utter the first A. So, if you take any letter, the A will be involved in that letter. Whether it is U, whether it is M, whether it is any other letter. Sarva Vyapitvam, all pervading. Similarly, The waking state can go everywhere. You can think about heaven. You can think about the upcoming house construction. You can think about the tomorrow's events. Everything from the waking state with our will, you can think anything, anywhere, anytime. In the waking state, you can think about the darkness of the night. Vyapanam is there by will. In dream state, dream state, there is no will. It happens. But in waking state, when you think there is a will involved, by will you can spread everywhere with your. And also, it is the first state compared to with respect to other two states. Among three, this is the first state. Among three, this is the all-pervading state by will. Now, what is the result when a person comes to know the similarities of the waking state and the akara? That is also being told by the Upanishad. When the Upanishad says some result, phala, it is not a promise. It is a fact. It will happen in one's life. When a person comes to know that waking state and the are one and the same, that person will draw the attention among the public or the people, and he will become the first among them. And also he will fulfill all his desires which are pending and which are yet to bloom. So there is a result when we come to know the akara and the waking state are one and the same. They are not two. Now, come to the dream state. What are the similarities of the dream state and the who? I will read and I will give you the meaning. Supnasthanaha, Taijasaha, Ukaraha, Dvidiya Matra, Utkarshat Upayatvat Va, Utkarshadiha Vai, Jnana Santatim, Samanascha Bhavati, Na Asya, Abrahmavit, Kule Bhavati, Ya Evam Veda. I will read once more. Supnasthanaha, Taijasaha, Ukaraha, Dvitiya Matra, Utkarshat, Upayatvat, Va, Utkarshati, Havai, Jnana Santatim, Samanascha, Bhavati, Na Asya, Abrahmavit, Kule Bhavati, Ya Evam Veda. Now, what are the importance of the waking dream state and the ukara, or the similarities? I have a clarification regarding the verse. Yes, okay. So, the dream state is the center of these three states. The dream state is in the center, in the center of waking state and also deep sleep state. Utkarsha, superiority, some importance is there. So, being some importance among the three states, and also being connected with both states. The U and the dream state are one and the similar. That is been told here. Swapnasthanaha Taijasaha. The dream state which is residing, which has the entity called Taijasaha, is having some similarities with Ukara, so that they are one and the same. Dvidiya Matra, the second letter, Utkarshad Upayatvad Va. Utkarshad, having some importance among these three. First having the priority, now having the importance. So, priority will go to Akara, importance. What is the importance? See, dream state is having the capacity to go to deep state also, to the waking state also. And also, the waking state will resolve in the dream state. And the dream state only makes us recognize the entire world is nothing but the motion of mind, manaspandanam. Dream state will prove the entire world can be created inside your mind. That will prove that the entire world is nothing. It's all just the thoughts of mind, the trains of thoughts. This is what I can say the importance, because in the waking state, by will only we think different things. But in the dream state, without applying the will itself, the entire world will be appearing in front of us. And it proves that without applying the external organs towards the world, you accomplish a lot of things inside the dream state. You create elephant. You travel by plane to another country. You eat your delicious food in dream state. Everything is created. The entire world is nothing but train of thoughts. This has been proved in the dream state. That is why it has some importance. And also Upayatvad, connected with both. It is connected with the Akara. It is connected with the Makara with respect to letters. And with respect to the quarters or states, the dream state is connected with the waking state. The dream state is connected with the deep sleep state. I would like to read some Bhashya. Swapnasthanaha Taijasaha Yaha Saha Omkarasya Ukaraha Dvidiya Matra. Swapnasthanaha Taijasaha. The deity which is residing inside the dream state is represented by the second letter of Omkara, that is Ukara. Kena Samanyad iti aha. What are the similarities? By which similarities they are one? The Ukara and the Taijasaha and the waking dream state. Utkarshad, having some importance. Akarat Utkrishtaha iva. It is having the elder brotherhood than Akara. Akarat Utkrishtaha. More important than Akara. He Ukara. Tada Taijasaha Vishwat Ubayatvad Va. So too, that Ukara being elder or having some importance than Akara, so too, the Ukara also have some importance with respect to Akara. Ubayatvad, having connection with both sides or centered in between. Ubayatvad. Akara Makarayoho Madhyastaha, which is situated in the center between A and Ma. Ukaraha, therefore, Tatha Vishwaprajnayoho Madhye Taijasaha. So too, the Ukara is centered in between Akara and Makara. Similarly, between the waking state and between the deep sleep state, the dream state is also situated. That similarity being there, who will represent the Taijasaha, which is dream state.
It looks like your mic is having some hindrance.
Oh.
Is there anything hiding the mic?
Let me check.
There is a volume low now.
The volume is very low.
Very low? Okay, let me see. I will come once again, okay?
Now it is okay.
Okay?
Yeah, now it's okay.
Okay.
Something must be was blocking the mic on the phone.
Now it's okay?
Now it's okay.
Okay, carry on. Okay, we will do. Say less noise, please let me know like whether it's told. Okay, Kamilaji.
Okay.
Now, I will read again what I have read in the Swapnasthana, Bhashya. Swapnasthanaha Taijasaha Yaha Saha Omkarasya Ukaraha Dvitiya Matra. I am repeating what I have read at the Bhashya. Okay. Swapnasthanaha Taijasaha. Swapnasthanaha. The deity who is residing inside the dream state. Yaha, one who is residing, that person is represented by the Ukaraha of Omkara. Omkarasya Ukaraha, and which is the second letter of Omkara. The first letter is Akara, which we already saw. Kena Samanyena iti aha. By which similarity they are one and the same. Utkarshad. The importance. What is the important? Acharya says that Akarat Utkrishtaha iva hi Ukara. It is elder or having some superiority than Akara. I already mentioned you the fact, the Supna, the dream state will prove you need not to work for the world because world itself is an imagination by the mind. The world itself is Maya. This is proven in the dream state. That is why it has some superiority, because waking state will not prove that way the world is Maya, because in waking state we employ our sense organs and we enjoy the objects, and that will help us to promote that world is real. But in waking state, it's different. The story is different. We don't employ any of our senses externally or internally. Just with the train of thoughts in the mind, we recognize the entire world. And when we wake up, whatever I have created, whatever I have enjoyed, whatever I have realized, they are nothing, just the creation of the mind. Thus, that waking state will help us to prove the entire world is just an illusion. That is why it have some superiority on waking state. This fact is very much needed for Vedanta because the entire world is proven as an illusion. That is been proved by the waking state or Taijasa. So, akarat utkrishtaha ivahi ukaraha. The ukara, the second letter, have some superiority on akara. Similarly, tada, taijasaha, vishwat, ubayatvat, tada. In the same manner, the taijasa, the residing entity, the residing deity of the waking state, have some superiority on waking state. Akara makarayoho madhyastaha, which is centered in the middle, in between akara, makarayoho, between a and between ma, the u is centered in the omkara. Tatha vishwaprajnayoho madhye, similarly, the Vishwa, who is the residing deity of waking state, and the Prajna, who is the residing deity of the deep sleep state. Among them, the Taijasa is situated Ubaya Bhaktva Samanyat, having connection with both, between them. Vidvat Palam Uchyate. Suppose somebody comes to know this importance or the connection between the U and the Taijasaha, they are one and the same. These things will help for a person to meditate on the reality. That's why. Vidyut Palam Uchyate. For them, what are the result if somebody comes to know by studying the Upanishad under a traditional teacher that Ukara and the Taijasa are one and the same? What is the Palam? Utkarshadi Havai Jnana Santatim. Utkarshadi Jnana Santatim increases the lengthen of the generation of the wise people or the learned people. He will create a good generation of learned people. Utkarshadi. Vijnana Santatim Vartayadi, the Artha. Adi Shankara write like this. Vijnana Santatim. Santati means a series of people or a generation. Vijnana Santati. He will teach lot of people and create a generation of wise in this world. Santatim Vardayadi increases. Samana Tulyascha Mitra Pakshasya Iva Shatru Pakshanam Apradeshyaha Bhavati. For everybody in this world who are having different lifestyle, different thoughts, for them, this person will be treated as one and the same. They will not keep enmity. They will not keep any kind of ill thoughts. They will not keep total attachment. The person who comes to know the Ukara and the dream state, the residing entity Taijasa are one and the same, he will be treated as the Lord in the mind of people. This is what I want to say. Shatru Pakshanam Apradeshyaha Bhavati. Even the opponents will give some respect. You know, there are people who get elected and go to the parliament, even though he or she may be opponent, but there will be people, they all will like to listen the words of the person, because the way he talk or she talks, the way he or she present the subject and the idea, the way they live among the people, that will attract everybody to listen them, you know. This is what been told here also. Okay. Okay. So Shatru Pakshanam, even for the enemies, Mitra Pakshasya iva, like the friends who talk good about him, same way Shatru Pakshanam, among the opponents, he become Apradeshya. He will not attract any ill thoughts by them. Then another result also been presented by the Upanishad. Abrahmavid asya kule na bhavati. Remember, Vedanta is a teaching which make you to detach from the entire world. Even though you will live in this world, you will be detached from your wife or husband by mind. You will be detached from your children. You will be detached towards the object which were attractive once upon a time for you. You just having the idea that you are the eternal entity, non-dual Brahman. You will never have a fantasy to have a generation again in this world. You will not have a blood relationship with anybody. That will be end of your entire generation. Still, Upanishad presents like this. Asya abrahmavit asya kule na bhavati. He will not have any kulam. That will be his last birth, and he will not put in a generation from him by blood. There will be not in the top level of Vedantic thoughts, a person will be freed from all kinds of body desires. So there will be no relationship, marriage, etc., everything, because he himself knows that I am not this body. I am the all-pervading Brahman. So he will transcend all the social rules and norms. So he will not have any idea to have a married life and have some progeny. But how this statement should be understood? Asya kule na abrahmavit bhavati. In his lineage, there will be no generation who don't have the idea about Brahman. That means in his generation, only people who have the idea of Brahman will be there. That means he will teach a lot of people about the reality of the entire world. He will talk about the self, which is the locus of each and every living being. He don't have any other thing to talk, or he don't have any other desire other than this. So that he will create a proper lineage of wise, a proper lineage of people who are having the discrimination about the truth and untruth. Reality will be the central theme. And he will be discussing about the entire world is nothing but the reality is Brahman. And he will create a tradition by teaching them in a traditional way. Thus, the whole generation who have studied under him become wise. There will be no person who talks about other than Brahman. They are all Brahmavit. They will be the knower of Brahman. They will become the knowers of Brahman. So he create a lineage of knowers of Brahman. That is what the intention to say a sentence like this by the Shruti. Ya evam Veda. One who knows that Taijasaha and the Ukara are one and the same, that person will have these type of results. Not a big thing, because the people who study Vedanta will not have any importance or preference for the results. They don't care about the results. Still, the Shruti presents certain results. Shishya Buddhi Prarochanaya, encouraging the person to know what is Brahman and encouraging the person to know the similarity between the Ukara and the Taijasa. That's all. It's only an encouragement. Fine. We will go to the next sloka. That the similarity is talking about the deep sleep state or prajnaha and the makara. We will see. Sushuptasthanaha, prajnaha, makaraha, tridiya matra, mitehe, apitehe va, minodiha va, idagam sarvam, apitischa bhavati yaha evam veta. Once more I will read. Sushuptasthanaha, prajnaha, makaraha tritiya matra, mitehe, apitehe va, minodiha va, idagam sarvam, apitischa bhavati ya evam veta. So, Sushuptasthanaha, waking state, and deep sleep state, Sushupti, deep sleep state. I'm thinking about the waking state. Sushuptasthanaha, deep sleep state. And the residing deity is called Prajnaha. Prajnaha, the residing deity who is in the waking deep sleep state, having some similarities with respect to the letters of Omkara, the last letter Makara. The last letter Makara is very much similar to the Prajnaha, the deep sleep state. And it became the third letter in the Omkara, and the deep sleep state will become the third state among the four quarters. And what are the similarities? Mitehe, ma, to measure. From that only mitaha. What is this word measure in this verse? In the empirical world, when we measure some grain in a pot, that pot will contain the entire grain. That is the measure, correct? 1 liter, 2 liter, 1 kg, 2 kg, 3 kg, that measure inside a container. Similarly, the deep sleep state will become a container for the waking state and deep sleep state. Everything will go inside the deep sleep state in the form of seeds. Vasana bija rupena. Inside the deep sleep state, the person's character, the person's ambition, the person's pressure to do certain things, the person's experiences, everything will go inside the deep sleep state and stay there in the form of seeds. That is the representation of measure. As a measuring container, the deep sleep state will hold the waking state and the dream state inside it without manifestation, in the unmanifested condition. This is what is intended by the word measure. Mitehe apitihi va. Everything get resolved. Apiti, where everything disappears. The waking state will disappear. The dream state will disappear. Everything is disappeared inside this. The whole character is not at all there. How he behaved in this world, we cannot identify in his deep sleep. He is just laying down, shutting down all the organs. His behavior is resolved now. Everything disappeared. How he was giving speeches for the people. How he was walking in front of the people. Everything shut down. Now, this shutting down is being told by apiti. Everything disappears. Similarly, in the letters, see, when we utter a and after that u, it will become o. And this o will be resolved in ma. O. 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 Inside the ma, the a and u will go as a measuring container. Similarly, after makara, there is no a or u. Everything disappears. So, makara is also like a container. Makara is also a screen to disappear for the a and u. So, mitaha apitihi. One who measures both states is deep sleep state. One who measures both letters is the makara. One who make disappear of both state is the deep sleep state. One who makes disappear of the two other states, other two letters is makara. After makara, there is no uttering of any other letter. That's the end. They will resolve in this. Oh, oh. That's all. So makara will be the end and it will disappear inside this. So as a container, the makara and the deep sleep state will work. That's why it has the name mitaha. And apiti, which will disappear inside, this is called apitihi. So, sushuptastanaha prajnaha makaraha tridiya matra mitehe apitehe va minodiha va idagum sarvam apitischa bhavati ya evam veta. One who knows this properly about the makara, which is the place for all the things to measure. What will be the result of the person? We should know the result of the person will be also minoti, measures the entire world, realizes the reality of this appearing world. That's what I will say. He will come to know the reality of this appearing world. This is called minoti. And apiti hiva, there will be no impact of all these three states after recognizing the reality. Apiti, there will be a disappearance of this entire world while living itself. These are the two results of the person who realizes that makara and the deep sleep state are one and the same. The residing deity, prajnaha, are one and the same. So he will come to know the reality, and also he will understand what is there that is nothing from the standpoint of reality. Comprehends everything. Now we will go through the Bhashya. Wherever the Bhashya is very short, I would like to read. Those who enjoy Sanskrit, okay. Sushuptasthanaha prajnaha yaha sakha makaraha omkarasya tridiya matra. Sushuptasthanaha, the deep sleep state, and the residing deity is prajnaha. Yaha, that residing deity is represented by the third letter of the Omkara, which is Makara. Kera samanyena idi aha. Samanyat samanyam idam atra. What are the similarities between them? These are the samanya. Mitehe, mitihi, manam, miyete iva, ihi, vishwataijasau, prajnena, pralaya utpatteyoho, praveshara, nirgamabhyam, prasthena iva, yavaha. Very beautiful. Acharya Shankara written beautiful sentence. Mitehe, mitihi, manam, a measuring aid, manam, a scale. Miyate iva, as though measured or measuring the two. What are they? The waking state and the deep sleep state. Vishwa Taijasau. Vishwa and Taijasa, the residing deities of waking state and the dream state, are being measured by whom? Prajnena. By the residing deity of the deep sleep state, Prajnena. Pralaya utpattayoho. Pralayam, resolution. resolving of everything, the destruction of both states. Same way, from the deep sleep state, both will originate also. Pralaya and Utpatti. Praveshana Nirgamabhyam. Entrance, Praveshanam, both will enter inside the Prajna, the deep sleep state. Nirgama, both will come out of the Prajna, from the deep sleep state. Prasthena iva yavaha. Prastham, the container, which will help the grains to hold. After measuring them, the container will put out entire grain. Tada Omkara Samaptau Punaha Prayoge cha Pravishya Nirgachadaha Iva Akara Ukara Makare. Similarly, Omkara Samaptau, when we chant or utter the Omkara, at the end we will chant Makaram, and in this Makaram both will enter and resolve like in the Makara, both will resolve. That's what we say. Apite heva, apitihi, eki bhavaha. Shankara gives a beautiful word. Apitihi, apyaha, eki bhavaha, all together, united. There will be no recognition of dream state and waking state separately in the deep sleep state. They all will go together. I told you, in the unmanifested condition, they will disappear inside the deep sleep state. Eki bhava. Omkara ucharana. Omkara ucharane. Anyaha aksharaha. Eki bhutau iva. Akara ukarau. When we are uttering the Omkara, they will come all together in the Makara. Eki bhutau iva akara makarau. They will all together become one syllable Om. We cannot recognize them. They are A, they are Ma, they are U, etc., etc. They all together become in Makara. Tada Vishwataijasau Sushupti Kale Prajne Yegi Bhutau. In the same manner, Tada Vishwataijasau, both Vishwa and Taijasa, in the deep sleep state, they will become unified, they will be resolved in the Prajna, Egi Bhutau. They all get unified, all get united. Ataha va samanyat ekatvam prajna makarayo. Because of this reason also, ataha, out of this reason, va samanya, the similarity being between the deity of deep sleep state, who is called prajnaha, and makara are one. They are having the same similarities. Vidyut phalam aha. What is the result? Vidyut phalam. The result of the person who comes to know that Makara and the Prajna, the waking state, deep sleep state, are one and the same. Minodi hava idam sarvam. Having the discrimination to know what is real and unreal. Minoti. They come to know this is real, this is unreal. Hava. idam sarvam. Even though the wise man see the entire world, he analyzes whether it is true or untrue. And he will come to know this is untrue, the entire world, it's an illusion. The locus, the base of this creation is the only thing which is eternal. Minodihava idam sarvam jagat yadatmyam janati. The reality of the entire world is being understood by this wise. He will come to know the reality of the entire world. Apidihi cha jagat karana atma bhavati. He will become the cause of the entire world, or he will get united with the unmanifested form of the entity. I would like to say this sentence should be taken like this. He will become the reason, the cause for certain good deeds for the other people. Jagat Karana Atma. To run the whole creation, there should be some noble actions. Dharmika vritti. He will become the reason. He will become the cause for the others to do good conduct, good actions to run the creation. Atra avantara pala vachanam pradanya sadhana stutyartam. The secondary pricing that the person will become a cause for the world. He will become the Karana Atma. This is only for the Pradhana Sadhana Stutyartam. It's only for the sake of the people who believe Karana Atma as the cause of this creation. For them to rejoice that they will become the Karana. Nothing more than that. This secondary way of praising that the person will become the reason for the creation. There are people who believe the entire world came out of something which is called Karana Atma. For them to rejoice that they will become Karana Atma, the reason for the creation to go, to run the whole show. This is what will do. So after this, we will start again our kārikā. Now again Upanishad stops the verses and it will go to kārikā. Kārikā means the independent verses written by Gaudapada Acharya. What he says about these states. I will read the verse and I will take we will study about these kārikās in the next class. Just I will read the two verses. Okay. Taijasasya uttavijñāne utkarsho drishyate spudam. Before that, 19. Sorry, I wrote the 20. I will read. Vishwasya attvavivakshayaam adisamanyamutkatam matra sampratipattau syat apti samanyameva cha. Taijasasya uttavijñāne utkarsho drishyate spudam Matra sampratipattau syat ubhayatvam tathavitam. One more I will read. Makara bhave prajnasya Manasamanyamutkhadam Matra sampratipattau tu Layasamanyamevacha. What we have studied through the verses of the Upanishad is being clarified or bit elaborated by the Gaudapada Acharya by the coming verses of kārikā. What are the similarities which are illustrated by the verse Upanishad is being more emphasized by the verses of kārikā and give the whole picture also, which we will see in the next verse. Om Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayandam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Brahmanebhyah Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyaha Prithvi Sasya Shalini Deshoyam Choparahitaha Brahmana Santu Narbhayaha Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamataya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om